Welcome to the 2 Cents Podcast. My name is Brianna Deculus, and I just have to say, I'm so happy for you to be here. Here's my co-host.
Hi, I'm Ruben Bell. Super excited to be here with you guys and enjoy talking about the insights of what's happening in retail.
Yeah, all things CPG. We're here to give you our perspective, the raw and uncut truth, a little bit of extra opinion, and a lot of jokes. So, Ruben, I think that we can't start this podcast without first introducing ourselves and kind of telling people who we are, how we met, and also, what are you currently doing right now?
Yeah, that's a great intro, so I guess we can start that way. For those that don't know me, I'm Ruben Bell. I spent the better part of 25 years in the CPG industry, working with some of the most iconic brands that are on the shelves today, and also helping a lot of indie brands make it to the marketplace, helping them navigate the shelves and navigate retailers in the most successful way possible. And so that's what I love doing. I'm a chief service officer by heart, and that's why I wanted to be here and share some of those insights.
Awesome. I'm so excited. And I'll go ahead and give a brief intro of myself as well. Again, my name is Brianna Deculus. I'm currently working at the Emerson Group. I've been there for 5 years. I started my career in the CPG industry at the Emerson Group, and it is a pleasure to be at that company. I've been able to learn all things Amazon, social commerce, digital marketing, and strategy, and it's truly become my passion. And so I'm so excited to give that perspective as we talk through everything that's in the news, a little bit about retail strategy, what we see to be potholes in the industry, and also just giving you a little peek under the hood, you know? But, okay, Ruben, before we go any further, we have to tell people how we met.
Good God Almighty! I can share, and you give your perspective. And so,
yeah.
As my last role was helping an indie brand develop a relationship with the Emerson Group, and a good friend of mine, a good colleague of mine that works at the Emerson Group, decided to put you on our brand. And so, took some time to get you in order, to help you understand what success looks like for driving a business. But you've been great on the brand. You've helped us really set ourselves up for success and get the business going. So it's been great. And so looked like you needed a little tutelage. And so I volunteered to serve you in the mentor capacity. That's my story. Is that the way you remember it? Or
You see how they just be changing the story and adding their jokes in there? That's crazy. But yes, you were my mentor. We really were able to start working on a brand we were both so passionate about. I really, really love that brand so much, and I'm excited to see where that brand continues to go. And in the interim, we also became really good friends and mentor-mentee, and, you know, we're all things NOLA. We love the Saints, right? So we have a couple of things. We got a couple of things in common, and so we're always talking about football and Louisiana and just our culture. So that's really how we know each other and what our friendship really looks like today. And so I'm just excited to say hello and welcome to the podcast.
Good stuff. So listen, it's time to get into it. I'm excited, right? We got some great topics here for our first episode, and we're going to have a lot of fun throughout these segments. And so we're going to start with a little bit of an icebreaker.
All right.
And so to make it simple, Brianna, for us to make this transition, what do you want the audience to know about you? What's the one thing you want them to walk away when they look at this podcast about you?
What I really want the audience to know is that I'm here to not only educate and to inform, but also entertain you guys and different things that we're seeing within the CPG industry, giving it a little bit of life and a little bit of spunk, a little bit of bedazzle, as you can see. And I'm just really excited to just continue to share my perspective. And I'm just so happy to have the opportunity to do that with you guys. And then also really just taking my perspective on digital strategy and marketing, and then also how to really navigate the marketplace. The one thing I commend myself on and I find to truly be my superpower is navigating a marketplace. And so I hope to give you a lot of perspective in the digital aspect of how to strategize when looking at your brand that you're either on, you founded, or you're managing.
That was impressive.
Wow.
That was impressive.
Yeah? You like that?
Yeah.
Well, I got a question for you.
Uh-oh.
I really just want to know what's your long game here? So we have this podcast, and what do you see it to be? Who's going to be on this podcast? Who are you looking to bring? What kind of stories are you telling? I need to know a little bit more.
Want me to spill the tea?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Listen.
Speaking of.
So I'll tell you, right? My passion is about serving people, and so with my long career at Johnson & Johnson and my time outside of Johnson & Johnson, I've had a chance to work on a number of great brands. But even with working on the great brands and the most iconic equities that are out there, there's always pain points.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, as I've been now working with a lot of indie brands and meeting some great founders, what I've learned, they have some really great ideas, really great products that they put out in the marketplace. But the one thing that's consistent across all those founders is they don't know what they don't know. Mm-hmm. And so while they're bringing these brands to market, there's a lot of mistakes that are happening, right? Whether they're picking the wrong 3PL partner, whether they're signing up for media agencies, not really understanding what's going to drive the awareness for their business. And those things are really costly. Yeah. And so the hope with this podcast is just to be able to share a perspective, a point of view, some insights that will help them really navigate those minefields in retail. More importantly, right, because I have such a large network and a lot of friends, they owe me favors. And outside of owing me favors, right, they just want to share like I want to share. Mm-hmm. And so we'll have an opportunity to bring them on here, chop it up a little bit, talk about their experience, hone in on some very detail-rich topics about what can help founders and even large brands be successful in the marketplace. And so I'm looking forward to getting after it with all of my friends.
Awesome. I love that. And that's so exciting. And one thing that we hope that you guys see whenever you come to the 2 Cents podcast is that we're always going to be giving you a different perspective. And again, we want you to laugh a little, right? So we're going to definitely keep it lighthearted. All right, so let's go ahead and switch gears and let's talk about what's in the news. So we came across a really interesting article, and it's about 15 big stores that might vanish by the end of 2025.
Yes.
I'm really interested to hear your perspective on which retailers do you see making it or not making it into 2026.
Yeah, that's a good question. So the article mentioned brands like Neiman Marcus, mm-hmm. Macy's, mm-hmm. Gap. I get Macy's, I get Gap. Was shocked about Neiman Marcus, to be honest, given all the major brands in there. But in my opinion, one of the brands that probably will struggle and might not make it to 2026 is probably Office Depot. Right? So I was in a Staples the other day, and I was actually shocked. I was going to an Amazon drop-off for a return, and now they have this partnership for a couple of years with TSA PreCheck and Clear. Mm-hmm. And so while it hasn't been successful yet, I see that they're trying to drive trips and traffic with folks coming into the store to do one thing, but probably picking up a high margin item while they're there to try to drive a little front end sale. So I think their competition, Office Depot, is probably going to struggle and may not make it given just the pressure in those kind of environments, not a lot of traffic, high margin items that folks can find on Amazon because Amazon is just taking a lot of those trips from folks.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you can get something same day or next day and you don't have to pick up, a new office chair that weighs 50 pounds, you can get it delivered to your door. Literally, why not, right? Yeah. So, that's an interesting perspective. And I think I agree with you as far as one of those will be gone. So if it's not Staples, then it will be Office Depot / Office Max. They did have their merger a couple of years ago. One thing that I think to be true is that I think Macy's and JCPenney's are going to be gone. And obviously those department stores, that makes sense, right? I think that JCPenney tried a couple years ago to really rebrand themselves. They leaned in very heavily with the prices already discounted, right? They had the big red numbers on everything when they went through their rebrand about 5 years ago or so. And so I don't know how much that worked for them. I think it kept them afloat, but do I see it to still be around by 2026? Probably not. Macy's leaning in that same direction as well. Neiman Marcus is surprising for me.
It's crazy.
Because that department store is the department store of luxury, right? And so where people don't have a Prada and a Jimmy Choo and a David Yurman and a James Avery and everyone else that is just around the corner for them to get if they don't live in a major city, right? They do have a Neiman Marcus usually where they can go and get whatever designer or luxury needs that they would go and acquire. Now, I think maybe their in-store stores will dissolve. Online will still be there. I think I saw something recently in the news that Neiman Marcus was actually going to get bought by one of the other larger luxury department stores. And I believe it's Saks. Don't quote me. I'll have to do a quick double check. But I believe that that's to be true.
But you're right, right? Those brands are there. That's what folks go for, those luxury brands. You know why I go for my luxury brands? Walmart. I just think that stuff is just too expensive.
Here we go.
Listen,
It's
kind of crazy, but the problem is the industry changes so much.
That's
right?
true.
Consumers are what I would call fickle. And so it's hard to hang your hat or lean in on a real high luxury brand when consumers can change their mind over and over and over again. You have the H&Ms of the world, all these other channels. And the folks that want to buy those high-end things, they're going for super high premium anyway. So,
right.
So it's Walmart for me. Spark. Ding.
Here we go. He's really, really Walmart heavy. Obviously, I'm an Amazon girl through and through if I had to pick one. I think that that's a really good segue to talk about Walmart versus Amazon. Where do we see those retailers at the end of 2025? Do we see Amazon taking the lead? Do we think it's going to take a couple more years? I'd love to talk through also your thoughts around the longevity of what Walmart would need to do to remain competitive with Amazon in the near future.
So that's a long-winded question with a long-winded answer, right? I think the short answer for 2025, both to be around. Amazon just last quarter just overtook Walmart from a revenue perspective. They both will be around because I think they both play a different position in the marketplace, right?
Currently.
As long as there's the wealth gap in our country, Walmart's going to have a role, right, for that save money, live better. That's the Sam Walton promise, and they continue to fight to do that. Amazon's going to continue to have the convenience and the assortment, right? If you look at any of their shareholder reports, both of them are definitely driving trips. Walmart trips with higher income consumers are going up. Amazon continues to win that convenience shop. Competition in 3P is going through the roof. Yeah. So when you think about the SKU mix for an Amazon, they're going to drive more revenue from that perspective. So both will be around. They'll continue to capture that share from all these.
But which model will be profitable long term? Everyone has known for a long time that Amazon wasn't always profitable on their retail side of their business. Their AWS, AWC, AMC, so Amazon Marketing Cloud Services, their Fire TV, all of these things is really what has kept Amazon profitable. Do we see that Walmart will need to tap into any type of digital infrastructure to really be able to compete with Amazon when we think about holistic profitability?
Yeah. I think they're trying, right? So both companies' revenue was up. I think Walmart was like 5.5%. Amazon was low double digits. But the operating cash flow is down because they're making these investments in supply chain and logistics, trying to get product to consumers faster than before, right? I think as long as they make the innovative investments to try to really drive technology to help reduce the cost, but their struggle is going to be labor, right? When you think about the whole tariff dialogue that's going on, labor is what's impacting the true profitability of these companies, not necessarily the business model, right? And so we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be fun to keep watching the big W go against Amazon. Amazon's going to continue to be profitable with all these other things, right? Amazon Prime, AWS, all these things that consumers want out of convenience, right? They spend probably just under Netflix in terms of how much money they spend in terms of original content, right? Yeah. So they'll continue to be profitable. So the retail is sort of this lost leader kind of thing as they continue to kind of work through the kinks and drive more efficiency.
So you made a comment earlier that higher income trips are starting to increase at Walmart. Do you think that that's tied to the DEI rollback from Target because people are now giving Target up for Lent. Okay.
Oh my God.
Let's talk about it.
This girl tried to get me canceled on the first episode. Why are we going to talk about DE&I? Good God Almighty. Listen. So yes, there was an article. I can't remember his name. Reverend Jamal Bryant, I think, out of Georgia.
Yeah.
Decided to spearhead a fast of Target for 40 days, amongst other people trying to do it. Look, I get it. I don't think it works. Being a little facetious, I think the last probable protest that worked was probably the bus boycott in Georgia. Right now, I know they had a lot of impact with George Floyd, right? To being a little serious, right? But I don't think that's the way to really get retailers to respond the right way. I think it impacts the P&L a little bit, but it's just like fasting, right? What do we do when we fast? The next day we wind up overeating, right? And so that's what the process is when you do these kind of protests. I think the opposite way, the better way to do it is probably to actually go spend money. Pick a day, pick a product, have everyone buy that same product that's widely nationally distributed across all the channels. And now you have data that helps people understand your marketing power, your spending power, right? And so I just think I struggle with these blackout days and these fasts. So yeah, Target's going to feel a little pain. But look, at the end of the day, the DEI relative to retail is about, are your products selling? And I think the challenge is some of these products, when you target it to only one consumer base, you're cutting yourself off from the rest of the market. And so you're limiting your ability to drive awareness with more people that may want to be in your product. And so there's a need for it, yes. There's a role for it, yes. But I can name a number of brands that haven't been impacted by DEI that are specifically for calling people of color or different culture groups. The lip bar. The lip bar is still in Walmart, still in Target. Luna Magic, right?
Yeah.
Still in Walmart, still in Target, still in CVS. They're not impacted. Why? Because they're selling.
Right.
And so, they have a target that people are buying and consuming. So it just depends. I just don't know if the protests are the right way to get the retailer's attention to help them make better choices around DE&I.
I really appreciate your perspective on that because the retailer dynamics really matter when we talk about this, right? These minority-owned, Black and brown, female-owned brands, they are already in business with this retailer. They can't just pull their products because they don't like what that retailer did. And so we will impact that brand sales, their overall performance, their ability to now go and show an increase in demand of their product to now go acquire additional distribution, say, and now a lifestyle retailer like say Ulta, right? And so in that, doing some of these protests, it will impact the actual brands that are being impacted by this being rolled back. And so I think that perspective is really important to talk about the holistic impact of these Black and brown brands, that while yes, consumers want to put a stake in the ground and say, hey, you were the forefront of this and now you're rolling it back. Well, now we're not supporting those brands that were once in that program. So then now those brands may just get pulled from the shelf altogether. And one thing I'll say is Target is no one new to rolling things back and changing their perspective on things. Target has been at this rodeo before and they've made it through the other rifts. So do I think that this is going to shut down Target? Do I think Target is going to go out of business for this? No. Will they feel the impact, to your point, as far as P&L impact? A little bit. But I think more than anything, we may actually be hurting our own brands in our community. And so I think that's a really good perspective. Thanks for that.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. And you did mention rollback. You know who does rollbacks?
Here we go.
Walmart.
Oh, Lord. Here we go. He's going to take every opportunity to bring up Walmart. He is a Walmart man through and through.
Walmart is not a sponsor, by the way. But hey, holla at me.
And on that note, we have to switch gears because he will talk about Walmart all day long.
Awesome. That was great, Brianna. So, look, I appreciate your feedback on it. We're going to switch to the next segment.
All right, let's do it.
This is one I've been looking forward to anticipating because you wouldn't share your notes with me.
No.
But that's okay. So we're going to see what you're going to say raw and uncut. So this segment is called Hype or Hope.
Okay.
Right? So that's what we're going to talk about. So, look, one of the things I keep running into in the marketplace with indie brands, indie founders is trying to tap into the celebrity-backed brand trend, trying to find celebrities that will sponsor their brand and be a part of their brand to drive that awareness and sales.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love your perspective on it. Do you think the celebrity-backed brand trend, is it here built to last, or it's just an expensive ego trip and it probably won't last much longer? What's your take on that?
That's a really good question. I actually love this question because obviously in this conversation, we also have to think about the influencers and how the influencers play a part in this. But I'm going to first try to be directly head on with just talking about celebrities. So I believe that celebrity-backed brands, they have the opportunity to last, but it takes a special level of commitment from that celebrity, and that celebrity has to already have been actively building a community. They have to have a passion and a message that they have been articulating and sharing with their community for a period of time. So whenever you think of X celebrity, you know that they are passionate about Y thing, right? And so that is really what is correlated with that person. That's how you have a brand that's built to last versus, maybe just an expensive ego, right? And I think that that's a large part of this. The other thing to this, though, is, right, we have many influencers that are now being idolized and looked at as almost a celebrity now, right? TikTok has done this, right? Where people who started with 5 and 10,000 followers now have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 million followers, right? And so now they may start off with a sub brand underneath a brand where they have a product launch or they have a special launch and they have different flavors of something or whatever the case may be. But this is kind of like that opening to that celebrity built brand. Also, I'm starting to see a lot of these influencers now come out with their own product. So in that fashion, they would be kind of classified as a celebrity built brand as well. Those, I feel like, have a better chance at lasting because what did they do? They built a community, they invested in that community, and they've kind of shared the consistent story with their community of why they're passionate about whatever category or problem that they're solving. And I think point of difference matters. You can't have a Me Too brand as a celebrity because why do I need to pay $10 more when J&J has been solving my problem for the last 20 years, right? And so the Me Too brands, I feel like, really are the expensive, 1 or 2 year runs. But whenever you have a true point of difference, you're solving a problem, and you've built a community around that problem, you have a better chance of winning.
Yeah, that's a great point, right? You have me thinking about some of the brands running across my head, right? Rihanna's done an excellent job.
Yes.
But that's driven from her level of engagement.
Right.
She's super engaged in her brand. There are other brands that are out there.
She also solved a problem.
Yeah.
Fenty Beauty solved a problem. What did she solve? She needed to finally see a makeup brand that had full variety from the lightest shade to the darkest shade, and it not just be a random paint color, right? Whenever it started to go into the darker shades. Yep. And I feel like she was able to unlock that and invest into the beauty industry by also, again, solving a problem that no one had directly solved yet.
Yeah, that's a great point. So engagement is the takeaway,
mm-hmm.
right? So if you're going to go that route, make sure you have the level of engagement to really drive the brand. I like and prefer, to your point, those folks who have created the community first.
Yes.
And then solve a problem, because what you already have is that integrated super fan,
mm-hmm.
right? Those people
mm-hmm.
who will follow you and buy whatever it is that you have. Hopefully the lasting power is that you get something that meets a market need. So
absolutely.
I agree with you.
And I think that the influencers actually have data to go and get distribution because they've been driving sales and doing marketing strategies for a very long time. They made an income off of this. So they're like, hey, anything I put my name on is going to pop. So let me put my own name on your shelf and let it pop.
Okay, Reverend Brianna.
Hey.
Okay, I see you full of energy about that topic.
I'm really passionate about influencers and social commerce and what that strategy looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to need to have you on my TikTok channel. I got like 3 followers.
Oh.
So I'm going to see what you can do for me. See if you
Are 2 of them your own accounts?
No, it's my mama and it's my daughter.
Oh, okay.
But it's all good. It's all good. Second question.
Okay.
Another buzzword here, hyper hope.
Mm.
What's your perspective about AI in CPG? Is it really game changer, or is it just a buzzword with an upcharge?
So look, AI has been around for years. Now people just have access to asking AI a direct question where they're able to also get the answer that they're looking for versus the trained AI answers that they've been getting for a long time. Every time that you got the need to ask a quick question pop at the bottom of your screen, that was AI. You've been exposed to AI for years. The difference is AI has now become more personalized. You now have the ability to go and ask direct questions and teach chat, right? Everybody has a nickname for their chat, I feel like, these days. I'd love to know your AI chat nickname.
I ain't gonna take it. It's personal.
Oh, see? And that's exactly my point. Personalized AI and the ability to now have a worker be right behind you, continuing to solve your problems while you're able to now focus on the things where you really need to formulate a thought, a strategy, a go-to-action, or a go-to-market plan, right? And so I think AI, I do say yes, it's a buzzword, but AI will continue to help you solve your problems. But in a shortcoming way. It's not going to solve world peace, right? You're not going to just be able to leverage AI and start making $1 million tomorrow, right? But do I think that AI will free up more time for you to go spend time on the things that really matter for you? Absolutely. The busy work, the monotonous different activities and things that you have to do, AI will be able to support you in that way. But I think the long and the short of it is, you still have a lot more work to do. And I think that in the CPG industry in particularly, we can leverage AI to really allow us to directly target consumers and shopper carts and personalize the experience of, hey, Ruben, I know that you really liked this drink and you've bought it the last 3 times. This is your next recommendation to add into your cart because you didn't add it this time, right? So those ways will help you grow the basket. But I don't think that it's going to fill the basket, if that makes sense.
That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw a bonus question at you because you seem so passionate about all these buzzwords. So given the buzzwords that's out there, given what what suppliers and vendors are dealing with, what do you think is the biggest mistake you see CPG brands make?
Honestly, I think it's moving too fast, right? Like, you have all of these different opportunities being thrown at you, right? So you got 3, 4 retailers and you're so excited and you want to get this extra distribution, or you also see that, hey, there's so many different custom bundles. You got to simplify your P&L at the beginning, right? Whenever you aren't cash flow heavy, you have to be strategic. You don't need 50 SKUs in your portfolio. You don't need to be in 5 different retailers. Pick the 2 retailers that make the most sense, and maybe it's Amazon and social commerce, or maybe it's Amazon and just Walmart, or maybe it's Amazon and Ulta, right? Depending on what your product is and what need are you solving for again, right? And then the other part is where are your top competitors playing, and where have they severely been overdeveloped? And then you understand that that's where your retail those are the places that you should be prioritizing as retailers, because that's where your consumers are currently shopping to go fill that need today. And so that would be my perspective on, some mishaps and mistakes that I think that some CPG brands make very early on. I'd actually love your perspective on that too.
Yeah, like I think you hit it, right? Trying to grow too fast, right? Using it from a founder's perspective, I think what I see a lot of founders do, it's their new baby.
Yeah.
Right? And the last thing you want to do is tell someone that their baby is ugly.
Ooh,
right?
Don't do that.
When you find them in the marketplace, they're kind of all over the place. And opposite of a career where every chance you get, you want to raise your hand and say yes because people remember that. When you do that in CPG, you find yourself really fighting too many wars on too many fronts.
Right.
And that's where it becomes a challenge for them. And so, to your point, keeping it simple, being focused, being open to listen as a founder, being coachable. There's a lot of free advice, a lot of very low, expensive advice out there that can help you really develop a strategy that makes a ton of sense, that helps you crawl, walk, then run.
Absolutely.
Right? So I like your perspective on that. So,
Awesome.
But they got some ugly babies out there. I ain't gonna lie.
See, you see, the one thing that I do want to add to that too, though, Ruben, and you kind of planted the seed for me, is that also understanding that sometimes your product just doesn't work here, right? And when do you raise your hand also as the brand owner and say, I think it's better if I don't prioritize this retailer, and I rather be able to communicate early and say, hey, let me buy out so that we don't end on bad terms. I don't have bad metrics with you. I just don't currently have the supply chain or the product line to actually be able to support this level of demand. And I think that that's also an important part.
That's smart. Knowing when to say when, right? It's okay to have courage to say, this is just not the right strategy at this moment.
Right.
And I know folks want to make every dollar they can.
Mm-hmm.
Every dollar is not a good dollar.
No.
Right. And I think the sooner brands, more importantly founders, can realize that, I think it really helps them make better decisions and have some longevity long-term in their
Absolutely. Brand. Exclusivity deals have done magical things. Think about Ollie, right? Ollie is now a mega brand, and Ollie was a Target exclusive brand. Yeah. Now, I don't know anyone who doesn't have 2 or 3 different Ollie vitamins that they like, right? There's a couple that you've probably tried from Ollie. You may only have one at your house today, but you probably like 2 or 3 on that line. And you've really kind of explored that portfolio. But they only started at Target, and they only had a couple of SKUs when they started at Target.
That's a good point.
So, just a really good reference point.
Got it. Awesome. Great. Okay, listen, here we go.
All right.
I think for as long as we run this show, this is going to be my favorite segment every time we do it.
Uh-oh.
Right? And this segment is called Here's My 2 Cents.
Oh, boy.
Well, we're going to be juicy, opinionated, with a whole lot of attitude.
All right.
So I hope you're ready for this. All right? So I'm going to kick off and ask you a question and get your perspective on that.
All right.
So I'm going to mix it up a little bit. So
mix it up. I'm ready.
I read an article from Paracommerce. Shout out to Paracommerce, that they identified the top brands, top 20 brands, if I'm not mistaken, to look out for in 2025.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Right? And I'm sure it's a good article, but I only got to the first brand and I kind of lost my mind.
What?
The brand is called Sauce, and it's a pasta sauce.
Okay.
And I have a strong opinion about that. But I just want to get your take on...
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
How is sauce spelled? Is it spelled normal?
No, it's spelled
Sauz.
S-A-U-Z.
You know how I feel about that.
So listen, I know how you feel about that, but I want to hear your perspective with the audience. And so let's talk about that first. What's your thought about sauce and branding and why branding matters? And I'm just going to talk about sauce in general because this is a pet peeve of mine.
Okay.
So I love your perspective.
Absolutely. So the reason why I always ask how is something spelled, especially whenever it's as generic as the name sauce, is because why? Why do you feel the need to go and reinvent the way that a word is already spelled? People don't know that you decided to go spell it special. Okay? And as someone my name is Brianna, but it's not spelled normal. It's spelled special. Okay? I know I'm special. But people don't know that sauce is special until people go try it, but they have to find it, right? How do you find a brand, especially in a digital native world that is really driving a lot of new trial and new to brand consumption, if you don't know how to spell the word? Why does sauce have a Z in it? Right? That's just like saying I'm going to trade out the letter E for a 3, or instead of me saying like the letter I, I'm going to use it upside down I, so I'm going to use an exclamation mark as my I. No, like no one knows that you're spelling your word special. And so in that, now you're automatically creating an uphill battle for people to, one, discover your product without you spending a ton of money on category terms or now directly on big corps and competitors that quite frankly have 10x, maybe even more, deeper pockets than you in your marketing budget, right? So people still aren't going to find your name or your product. And so you've created this uphill battle for people to now discover your product on a whim. and then want to try it out. Because also, why is there a Z on this? Like, who made this? Gen Z? Now I have so many questions. So that's how I feel about this particular branding. I can go on and on and on about branding, though, and branding choices, but I'll stop there for now.
So I love that, but can I give a remedial perspective?
Oh,
Right?
Lord.
I love
Here
it.
we go.
You're getting right to the meat. That's what folks are looking for.
Yeah.
But my fans are remedial.
Oh.
And listen,
I can't believe he called y'all that.
They love me. They know.
Do they know you? My fans don't know that. Y'all not. No. Y'all are smart.
I'm special with the L, not a CIAL. So my friends and fans know that. But here's my problem, right? So I'm a family man with 3 kids. We call ourselves Ruben T plus 3. Shout out, right, to Ruben T plus 3. I got 2 football players in my family.
Okay.
One in college, 2 football players that both run winter spring track. And so when I have to shop, I have to make big baskets, right?
Okay.
But I'm also looking for quality, valuable food.
Okay.
I myself am a fan of Prego. I think Prego is good. Shout out to Campbell Soup. Prego is good, but I had a friend of mine who recommended Rails. Right?
Okay.
I bought Rails.
Okay.
It's decent.
Yeah.
Good experience.
Okay.
The kids like it.
All right.
But I think the kids' comparison is to Prego when I was watering it down to stretch it when I'm getting everything out the can. So it's not a good apples to apples comparison. But here's my real problem. Okay. Innovation is good.
Yeah, I agree.
And innovation drives a higher price.
Yeah.
But is it worth 3x? It's tomatoes in a damn can. I'm sorry, can I say damn on my own podcast? It's tomatoes in a can. I don't care where the tomatoes are coming from. I don't care what kind of organic soil that you're using, fertilizer, to make these tomatoes. It is not 3x.
Okay.
Prego is $2.59 at Target.
Okay.
These other sauces are $8.99, $9.99.
Yeah.
You introduced me to Carbone. You almost lost a friend.
Oh.
When I bought that sauce because it wasn't that good compared to $2.59. And so I'm just trying to understand where's the middle.
There is a middle. I do believe there's a middle.
What, you tell me where the middle is, because clearly, you remember Prego used to be the premium.
It did.
You remember Ragu?
Yes.
It's in there, right?
Yeah.
Prego was the middle, was the premium.
Right.
Now there's Prego, and then there's everybody else on this other end.
Right.
I don't know where the middle is, so I'm just struggling a little bit, right? Yeah. I went to my preacher and tried to have a little counseling. I'm struggling with this.
Okay.
So I'm
you
sorry.
have to go to your preacher about it?
Yeah, I need a counseling.
Oh, all right.
I need a therapy.
Well, look, this is what I'll say. I think that there's space for all of these brands, to your point. Innovation is important. Innovation also really, it puts the fire underneath those heritage brands, right? The well-established brands, it really starts to push them to be more innovative, right? What are new verticals or versions of the product that they should be introducing to the shelf? And the reason why that these other brands have the opportunity to be on the shelf is because they aren't actively doing it, right? So I think that that's a big part of it. I think the other part of it too is about quality versus quantity, right? Yeah. So you were saying, hey, I need to make sure I'm able to feed the quantity of my family, and it needs to make fiscal sense, right? Like which I completely understand. Now, I'll flip that and say, do I think that you should be buying Carbone or Rails? I've never tried this sauce new products, right? But I don't know. Should you be buying that too? And if all of those are 3x the cost of Prego, then it's about the quality. Are you doing something special? Is it date night? Or is it Valentine's Day and you're cooking at home? Are you hosting your in-laws? Whatever the case may be, right? Those are the times where I feel like the quality makes sense, right? So you want to have a really good hearty meal. You're celebrating something. Carbone only has a couple locations in all of the US, right? And so in that, if you want to be able to experience Carbone, the closest thing to Carbone, go buy you a $8, $9, $10 bottle
of carbone sauce and get to experience a little bit of carbone at home. That's why they have a place on the shelf, right? It's because of the exclusivity pool there. Or with Rails, it's a very similar thing, right? Rails has a couple of restaurants in the US as well. They're higher quality. They're meant for a higher, nicer night out, right? Rails prices at a restaurant is just about the same as Carbone prices at the restaurant. And so again, we're talking about quality. Now, again, with this sauce with a Z, because I think it's sauce, not sauce.
It's
sauce. Sauce. I don't know. You don't have a restaurant. You got your name spelled with a Z. I really do think maybe it's a Gen Z founder.
You could be right. And everything you said, it's an excellent perspective. And it's the educated, excellent perspective, right? But for me, if I'm trying to spice up date night or with the in-laws or trying to have a special moment, you know how I do that? I get Prego and I get a bottle of Grey Goose.
Bye.
Right? And
what if I don't like Grey Goose? Then what?
Long Island iced tea?
No.
You don't drink Long Island iced tea?
No.
Margarita? See, you
what kind of tequila?
Oh, so if I put a sauce, blue Hawaiian, and put an umbrella in the drink, you good?
No.
Okay.
I'm a Don Julio girl.
Oh, see, oh, good Jesus.
See?
Take the wheel. Take the wheel. I get it. Like, I get it. I'm just Saul's. Look, I'm gonna look out for it. I'm gonna go buy it.
Go try it out.
But I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah,
because
mad.
of what I'm spending. But I'm gonna go
be
buy
mad
it.
at the way that they spelled the name. Be mad about that.
That's a good point though, because ain't nobody gonna find that.
How am I finding Saul's?
Hey Siri, can you find me Saul's?
She probably like, I don't know how to spell that. Point in case. Point.
Tell me where you are.
Oh.
Privacy settings.
Gosh. So the first episode is done, Ruben. How do you feel? How do you feel?
I feel good. I think my mama would watch because I didn't cut up too much. So I'm feeling good about that.
Thank you, Miss Bell.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Mama Bell.
Love that.
Because, she would talk about me.
She would.
Yeah, she would.
Okay. Well, thank you for everyone listening. Welcome to the pod. We are so excited to have you. We are going to be back bi-weekly, and we cannot wait to bring you industry-leading point of views, topics, and always a good laugh.
So yeah, Brianna, you definitely got to thank our sponsors.
Absolutely. The Branded Academy, the ultimate program to design you with the information and equip you with all of the strategies and industry connections to help you build, scale, and win at retail. From e-commerce to brick and mortar, they will be breaking down the playbook so that you don't have to guess. Whether you're a startup ready to scale or you've had some tools and you're ready to take it there, spots are limited. Apply and take your brand to the next aisle or maybe even search bar. Visit getbranded.com to learn more. The Branded Academy, because success isn't luck, it's strategy.
It's awesome. Really appreciate those folks over there.
Absolutely.
So, this has been exciting. How you feeling?
I'm feeling so good. I cannot believe we pulled this off.
We pulled it off. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Lord.
On to episode number 2. And with that, we can say deuces.